Okay, guys, this is the brand new, this is like December 23rd, 2013, the brand new Inner Circle sales funnel available. If you have Inner Circle and Power Network, you're available to use this. As you can see, they're really, getting into how the mind works, which can be pretty awesome, but also can be pretty dangerous. So discover how this one weird trick generated $16,000 in under 60 days. Okay, so what is the weird trick? Okay, I love mind stuff. I love healing my mind and thinking powerful and positive. And let's find out. I give my email, my name, and now I'm gonna find out. This is the brand new video, guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Man, I want to be a part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I drove my now fiance, Aaron, and my daughter, Bailey, into this neighborhood for the very first time, it was kind of a little bit of an odd experience because they were looking around saying, Dad, Dave, are we in the wrong neighborhood? Because obviously coming from where we came from, we lived in a shanty. It was, I don't know, probably 5, 6...
I thought it was just Dave that lived in the chamois.
It was kind of in between a main road and an alley. It had a battered chain.
Wasn't with his kid or his girl.
It was not an ideal place.
I thought that was where Dave lived.
We didn't even want to live there.
Last video it said that.
Let alone with a family, a 13-year-old daughter, and try to, bring your family up in. I drove an old 1990 Ford F-150. This thing had more rust than paint. I'd literally be driving down the interstate, chip and rust paint. Chips would be flying off of the truck and kind of flying over and hitting random cars and stuff. And
yeah, he said that last video. I remember the whole story.
Not even in the ignition, actually I'd pop the trunk. I'd always be the last one to leave everywhere that we went because I'd pop the trunk and it looked like fireworks were going off inside the hood. And it was the life that we lived at one time, and we were struggling.
We lived.
Oh, like
I thought.
And I wasn't really sure how.
I thought you lived by yourself when you were.
I experienced a lot of struggle.
Living on your own in the shanty.
I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I'd been homeless at one point, struggled with alcohol and drugs. Now, of course, and I'll talk about that a little bit more too. But recovered from that, sober, clean now for 5.5 years. But when we drove into this neighborhood for the first time, my family, my girls were looking around going, Dad, where did we take a wrong turn? And that was a magical, cool moment because we were obviously able to pull up into the driveway in the house that we live now, and I was able to show them basically a new life. And the smiles on their face was something that I'll never forget. What I also forgot to mention was that I've got an 80-pound lapdog here who we treat like a small child. This is my fiance, Aaron. Come on back. Let's go sit by the pool for a second. Welcome to my house. I always think that it's cool to kind of bring people into my life before I teach or train them on something because it gives them a little bit of a background on who I am. If you don't know me, you don't know my story, I told you a little bit about who I am, where I came from, and I want to tell you that I didn't tell you that to impress you, just to impress upon you that what I'm about to show you and train you on in this video is some of the most powerful stuff that I've ever taught on before.
Well, you sure motivated
before
me.
We start this video, I've just got to give you a big fat warning. Because after watching this, you will question everything you've ever been told about how to become wealth influential fast. Hi guys, again, my name's Dave Sharp, and I'm going to show you how to use this one weird brain trick to literally reprogram your brain to be happier, have more influence, and make more money, and to do it fast, without any expensive school, fancy technology, or dangerous drugs. Tracy Reuter said putting this into practice resulted in a change of thinking, opened me up to new possibilities, and 60 days later, an extra $18,000. And that was from not even having enough money for groceries prior. Dear future millionaire in the making, you're about to discover how I, a former drug addict, and my now business partner, a once homeless beach bum, discovered a weird brain trick that transformed us from broke and hopeless losers into influential and wealthy world travelers and business owners. And neither of us were born with silver spoons. Neither of us had any luck.
I just want to point one thing out. both of the Daves did not enter Empower Network and start Empower Network with no money. They either borrowed or had money. They were not on the street. And they did not start with no internet experience. They had years of sales and internet marketing.
And no one gave us any handouts. And as a matter of fact,
nobody.
Everything about our lives predicted us
no
dying
handouts.
broke and living average in
no
mediocre
borrowing.
lives. We were outcast.
Sure.
We couldn't even hold a decent job if we were actually ever even hired for one. And we couldn't keep a girlfriend or stay in a relationship if somebody held a gun to our head. I struggled with a crippling drug addiction for over 10 years. And my partner, he lived in a van on the beach on the north shore of Oahu, Hawaii. And today, I've been clean for over 5.5 years. My business partner now lives in a mansion in the mountains of Costa Rica. And one of our businesses recently did over $70 million in sales the first 23 months of its existence. So how do we do it? Well, I'm going to tell you. Yet first, again, I got to warn you. You may not believe it when you hear it. Most people don't. They ignore this easy yet highly
I'm
effective
different.
way to
I'm going to believe it.
program
I'm
your
going to
brain
believe
because
it.
It seems too simple. And most of
I
them
like
go on
simple.
searching for the secret, only to stay broke, unhappy, and unfulfilled with
I just
their
want
lives,
this.
relationships,
I just want this
and
now.
financial situation. So if you're looking for some complicated, expensive way to learn or buy yourself more power, more influence, or the ability to make more money, this isn't it.
Oh.
However, if you want to discover how we went from park benches to Park Avenue using a simple little brain trick, I'll show you exactly how we did it in this video. However, before I tell you what this is all about, I want to ask you an extremely urgent and essential question. Are you serious about being able to double, triple, even quadruple your current income within the next 6 to 12 months, maybe faster? And are you serious about learning how to become more influential with people in your life? Whether that's customers, friends, family members, or potential mates.
Amen.
It's entirely possible to do so, and it's the fastest path there is to change the way you think. And you can do it easily when you implement this simple little brain trick.
Okay, I'm ready
that
for
will
it.
instantly change the way you think, how you act, and ultimately the results you want in your life.
Okay.
I will also go ahead and answer the question we get asked almost all the time everywhere we go.
Okay.
How can I do what you guys are doing?
Okay.
And usually, honestly, there's just not enough time or not a big enough reason for me to reveal our secret. So why am I willing to reveal it today? Well, first of all, I am interested, highly interested in helping you. And that help has nothing to do with whether you buy something from me or not. Truthfully, I don't even need your money. And if you choose to use my system or ever buy any of my products or become a client of mine, it's not going to alter my lifestyle whatsoever. I've now made millions of dollars online and offline and helped tens of thousands of people all over the world. I can host
So
an
you
event
don't need me.
anywhere in the country.
I need
and
you.
fill 4 to
I need
5,000
you. Yeah.
seats easily.
I need you.
Here's a picture of me from one of our recent events on stage. The
Yeah.
second thing,
You're the boss.
a lot of people, especially my guru competitors, think you need to go through years and years of school, or that you have to spend thousands of dollars going through all kinds of fancy therapy, or even take weird and dangerous medications to learn how to think differently, to become more influential and savvy at business, and, well, basically learn how to become a millionaire. But you know what?
It doesn't
Truthfully,
take
I know
years
that's all
of
BS.
training, no.
Because over the last few years, and I don't say this to brag, it's just the facts,
Overnight.
I've made more money, have bigger companies, and have gained a celebrity level of influence most gurus will never learn how to achieve. I've also
and you're not
eliminated
a
every
guru.
ounce of
No, you're not a
anxiety
guru.
that I used to have.
Yeah.
Seriously. I used to have a fear of speaking on stage and couldn't put 2 sentences together that made sense because I was so nervous. Today, I not only speak all over the world, but have become one of the most sought out, ripped off, and well-respected speakers in my profession.
Sounds like
and
a
I
guru.
did all of that using only this weird little brain trick I
just the brain trick.
accidentally discovered to literally
Not a guru.
reprogram the way I think, the way I act and talk.
Okay.
And obviously, the results that I get.
Yeah, you're the boss.
The weird thing is, I discovered all of this by accident.
Whoopsie.
See, I've had an obsession with becoming a successful entrepreneur for a long time. Back when I was homeless and struggling with drug addiction, I used to look at all of the drug dealers and think to myself, how much more money they could make if they changed certain things about their operation. Weird, I know. And as crazy as it sounds, it actually inspired me to want to quit doing drugs. It inspired me to start a real business that actually helped people break free from some of the same self-made prisons I was living in. So eventually I was able to get clean And I've now stayed clean for, like I said earlier, over 5 years.
Okay,
I started dabbling in different marketing and sales opportunities. Throughout my search to learn how to become better at sales, I actually stumbled upon a group of very entertaining and very successful sales trainers.
Oh, yeah.
And I was able to download a few recordings of them speaking at different events they hosted. Somehow, I got hooked on listening to these old, fat, bald guys.
Okay.
And although I didn't always want to listen to the audios because
you don't want
honestly,
gurus.
watching TV,
You're
going
not
to the
into
beach,
gurus.
or hanging out with chicks is more fun. I couldn't stop listening to these old, fat, bald guys. Everywhere I went, I had one of them playing into my earphones.
The gurus.
My then girlfriend, now fiance, was so sick of hearing me listen to these dudes tell stories, or at least that's what it sounded like they were doing. They were really preparing me, though, to become extremely wealthy and unbelievably influential. But even I didn't know that yet.
Oh.
But I kept listening despite even my own attempts to convince myself to stop.
Okay.
Then it got really weird.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, one day I was asked to speak on stage at a local event. Before I went on stage, my palms were sweating. My heart was pounding. And all I could think of was how stupid I was about to look because I was such a horrible public speaker. My name was called, and the audience, they roared.
What's the brain
as
trick?
I walked on stage
Where's the
in
brain
absolute
trick?
terror. Then all of a sudden, I opened my mouth. And out of nowhere came a voice that I didn't know that I had.
Okay.
It was a powerful voice. It was a voice in control. I was funny. I was relaxed. And then it got even more weird. Out of nowhere, I started saying the same things I'd heard in that old fat bald guy say on one of those worthless audios I almost stopped listening to. I started telling the same jokes as him, in the same ways as him, and the audience loved me.
Not a guru.
I was witty, sharp, and on top of my game.
Okay.
After my talk, people high-fived me, trampled over each other to shake my hand, and wanted my phone number, website, and contact information.
Oh, yeah.
I literally sounded like someone who had spoke hundreds of times before.
Okay.
But I hadn't. And I had only ever heard someone speak like that before on an audio.
Okay.
I suddenly realized listening over and over again to those audios of those old sales guys had literally reprogrammed the way that I taught.
Okay.
I was absolutely shocked and honestly sort of disgusted. I'd been through tons of sales classes and been told all my life I needed to go to a formal and expensive school to learn how to become a public speaker, and nothing I tried worked until I stumbled over a couple of audios from some old fat guys on the internet and listened to them for a couple of weeks. And it turned me into an instant celebrity and powerful communicator almost overnight.
Yeah.
That, of course, made me question everything I'd ever been told about becoming happy, powerful, and rich.
Right.
Over the next few months, I had headphones glued to my ears, as you can imagine, soaking up every last drop of every last
Where's the brain
word
trick?
I could take in from all of the most successful people I could find.
Oh, maybe that's
I
the
was
brain trick.
shocked by my little discovery. I literally couldn't believe it. I realized I could become good at anything I wanted to become good at by simply finding other people who had already mastered these skills. If I wanted to become good at speaking and influential communication, I needed to listen to the best public speakers I could find. If I wanted to become good at picking up women, I needed to listen to guys who were good at picking up women. I had no need for that at the time, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Over the last few years, because of this little discovery I made, I've spoke on stages all over the world. I've built a company with over 100 loyal and enthusiastic employees and have generated over 160,000 satisfied customers in my business. All because,
Where's the brain trick?
Almost by accident, I started listening to audios.
I just
It's
subscribe for the
absolutely
brain trick.
the most powerful habit you can develop. And it's the easiest too.
Okay.
You don't need to know any complicated tech stuff. You don't need any special equipment other than what you've probably already got, a computer with online access. You don't have to go buy anything extra to do it or spend any time trying to find the right kind of audios to listen to because you will find it all right here as you will see.
Okay.
And if you're one of those people who are wondering, what is the secret sauce behind both me and my partner Dave Wood's
because I've been
massive
listening
success,
for a year and
listen
a
up.
half.
This
I've
is
been
exactly
listening
how
for a
I've
year and a
reprogrammed
half.
my brain to become happier, more influential, and achieve multi-millionaire status.
Didn't get
fast.
there, no.
Now, before you
Day
roll
and
your
night I
eyes and say,
listened.
yeah, sure.
Day
I
and
think
night
there
I
must be something more
listened.
to it than just listening to audios. Let me
To
explain
audios.
how and what I discovered that makes this so amazingly powerful and transformational. truthfully, it's almost magical. If you want to be massively successful and make as much money as possible, there are two cutting-edge reasons why you must begin listening to audios daily. And the cutting-edge reason number one is modeling success creates your success. One of the reasons this is so important to me is because I've seen way too many business and marketing seminars where there's a total disconnect.
I am so bored. I don't know about you, but I'm so bored. Okay. La 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 la.
Because people like you want to do it too.
Oh, we did.
Perhaps you want to know how we built an organization of 160,000 people in just 23 months. Really, without ever picking up the phone.
Not ever.
We've been able to sponsor 8,000 people, doing it all entirely online, and make up to $500,000 per month in commissions.
Ooh.
So right now,
I'm going to
pull back the curtain and tell you exactly how we began doing all of this. Though I want to warn you, it may seem so damn simple. You may think it can't be this basic, but it is.
Yeah.
It all starts by doing something you've already been doing automatically since you were a baby.
Yeah.
Say, what? I told you it was basic. The thing is, it was a natural thing to do when you were a baby.
Yeah.
But somehow we forget or lose touch with how important this is as we get older.
Yeah.
Let me explain. This goes back to how we all learned as we were growing up and figuring out the world. This is definitely the simplified explanation, but on the other hand, it is simple. When you were born, you have no fears except a few things like falling backwards or being hungry. Let me pause here to mention this because as we get older, other influences and experiences get piled on top of that natural childlike state that allowed us to learn and figure things out. We get messed up by life crap instead of staying in a naturally receptive and curious state, which is another reason that having an effective way to let go of the head garbage and recalibrating with powerfully positive downloads into your brain is so important. Picture it like this. Useless garbage out, inspiration, motivation, and wisdom in.
Yeah.
Think about it. When you were a baby, as your parents or caregivers started making sounds at you, you learned to attach meaning to these downloads of information into your brain. Very quickly, you begin essentially copying what you're hearing or seeing. And usually, you begin to attempt to communicate by making the same sounds or signals back, right? Eventually, what you see or hear being modeled for you becomes second nature, like walking, talking, eating grown-up food, peeing in a toilet instead of your pants, everything. That's probably a visual for you. When you think about it from this perspective, you'll smack yourself in the head and say, wow, this is how I learned everything that I know right now, which is actually a completely freeing and inspiring realization because you can continue to learn now the same way no matter what your age, your location, or your circumstance in life. And it's why listening to audios every day is so absolutely essential to you as you literally reprogram yourself to become more successful. When you think about this at the most fundamental level, the way you learned everything you learned all comes down to this one thing, modeling the success of others. Now, obviously, you want to learn something new right now or you wouldn't be here on this page with me. So what I'm going to do is teach you how to combine the fundamental elements of how you've learned everything you've learned in your entire life with some of the more advanced secrets.
By the way, how is this going to get someone to buy what I'm selling? If I'm bored. I am so bored. Are you bored? It's boring. Why is this a sales funnel that helps sell the product? I don't know. I think people just click subscribe now just to shut it up.
I'm going to write this down because these are three essential steps that allowed me to go from an almost incoherent bumbler who could barely put two sentences together to becoming someone who's been called one of the most inspirational and impactful communicators on stage today. These are the three essential steps.
Well,
and these steps
20
can
minutes
create
now.
an amazing income for you. I can tell you from experience. That's what it's done for Dave and I. Model, maximize, and multiply. Here's how it works. Step one, model. Modeling is essentially when you consciously choose to walk in the footsteps of someone who is already doing what you want to do so you can follow their